Oxford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Pleased and honored to be joined by Nebraska volleyball coach John Cook.
If Trev wasn't interested, I would have done it in a heartbeat because I just felt like Nebraska athletics, we were at the edge of the cliff. You know, we had to do something, get somebody in here to build this athletic department back up. I thank my lucky stars every day that Trev's our guy now.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
My name is Rebecca. I struggled with depression for years. I also smoked. That was my world. Finally, I realized that smoking wasn't helping me. It was making my life worse. So I took control and I quit. Now I'm able to run again and take walks with my grandkids. My tip is there's another world out there, and it's a beautiful place to be.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour, and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill has 2 Lincoln locations that are great for any occasion. If you're downtown for a basketball game or a concert, stop by their newest spot at 10th and P. Don't forget to check out their social media pages to learn about any concerts on stage at Rosie's. If you want to avoid a busy downtown scene, head over to the original Rosie's just south of 14th and Highway 2 for a feeling of your local hometown bar. There's plenty of TVs at both places and great food and drink. What are you waiting for? Rosie Sports Bar and Grill at 10th and P and on South 14th Street.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today, with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Today on Hey Culligan, unnecessary contaminants. Here's the referee.
Hey Culligan, that's a flag on my water for flagrant foul taste.
Ooh, that's a tough one, ref, but the solution is a Culligan Smart RO drinking water system that reduces up to 58 contaminants, making your water safer and delicious.
Yeah, I guess I missed that call.
And with the Culligan Connect app, you always know when your filters need changing.
The water's up and it's good.
Good call, ref, and we're already on the way.
Try a Culligan water softener for just $9.95 per month. Go to CulliganLincoln.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. 7 The Ticket veteran and Bill Callahan fan club president, Jake Bakoven.
I love Billy.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach.
Hold up.
This is On the Block with Strick and Bach right here on 93.7 The Ticket. The Wisconsin Badgers and Nebraska Huskers are tipped off now here at Pinnacle Bank Arena. For what it's worth, Chucky Hepburn already in the scoring column. But to start off, kind of a cool side story for this game is that Trey McGowan's back into the starting lineup for the first time, obviously, since his big injury. Do you think that could provide a little bit of a spark for Nebraska today? I certainly think that he's a better fit in that starting lineup than Keisei Tamanaga. I've been saying it all year long. It's kind of tough to kind of have him pull it off as a wing player. So Nebraska, of course, getting a little bit closer to full strength with Trey McGowan's back in the starting lineup. What do you think, Strick? Oh, looks like we can't hear Strick. Okay, hold on one second. All right, go ahead.
I said I can't believe you even said that. It's not even a question of whether or not it was better for Trey McGowan to be in there than Tamanaga. I think, him coming off the bench and being able to kind of change the energy and the flow of the game and give him some shooting prowess, that bodes better for him than starting the game. But they had to do what they had to do in order to fill that void while he was in his absence. You know what I'm saying? So I get it.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously this hasn't been the ideal situation for Nebraska basketball with the Trey McGowan's injury, Wilhelm Breidenbach out. As much as we talked preseason about how hard it would be to fight for minutes, some of those positions aren't so stacked that you could lose, one of your bigs. They only really have 3 bigs now, down to 2. And Trey McGowan's by far their best perimeter defender, and they'll need that today against Wisconsin. So we'll keep kind of one eye on that game. We do have a post-game show, probably going to be tipping off or starting right at the end of our show here on
crazy
on Block. Yeah, so
this is crazy, bro. Like we are literally having to kind of keep our eyes like what's going on, because we're part of the post-game show as well. And both teams are starting off on fire, and so it's going to be a good look, and I'm looking forward to kind of this format. I actually like it. I think it bodes well. It allows me to get some good sleep earlier.
Oh yeah. Well, unless you're gonna stay up for the women's game, which starts at 8, so that'll keep you up late. But
I think I'll record that one.
Yeah, DVR is very good for us here. And the other thing is Wisconsin basketball, women's basketball is not very good. So maybe Nebraska can get off to an early lead, then you can feel pretty comfy going to bed. We'll see. But obviously both teams trying to get back into action after the long COVID pause. For what it's also worth, no players, like what was reported the other day, are having to wear masks while they're playing. So no distraction there for Nebraska basketball. I don't think it would have been a big deal either way, but it would have been a bit of a different viewing experience, I suppose, for everybody out there. We'll continue to kind of give you an update about what's going on or have opinions, just because it's kind of a cool experience we get here. We can't do play-by-play, otherwise I think the university will come after us. They don't want us doing that. They have the rights to play-by-play, so we'll just kind of update you. Maybe you can watch the game and listen along with us as we discuss some of the other topics that we have today. But I did want to start with Nebraska basketball overall. Obviously not this game, but big picture stuff is kind of been a big topic of conversation, because Jimmy Watkins' article, a well written and informed article from Jimmy Watkins of the Omaha World Herald, kind of highlighting once again the problem for Nebraska to keep their best athletes in state for Nebraska men's basketball. They, whether it's Chucky Hepburn starting out there for the Badgers today, Hunter Salas, Isaac Strout, you're having these big time names leave Nebraska, and it's not just a problem for Nebraska for what it's worth. Creighton also could be, right in that category, because they're recruiting at like a top 10 top level that this past year, and still weren't able to get those Nebraska kids. Whenever this conversation comes up, I just kind of go back to the fact that Nebraska basketball just hasn't been relevant for 20 plus years. So I mean, that's the biggest problem that I always come back to. It's just when, if you're, because you got to think about it from, kind of if you're the father in this situation, right? If you have an offer from Gonzaga and Mark Few, or you can take this chance on this Nebraska basketball team that hasn't been to the tournament in 6 years. You look at your goals and individually and trying to come up, it kind of just goes back to those kids too, kind of growing up. When you watch college basketball at its highest level, when you fall in love with the game, when you those big time moments, Nebraska just hasn't been in a lot of those situations. So it's the easiest thing to go back to, but it's always, to me, the truest thing is if you're not winning games, they're going to be looking elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that not too long ago, and that it was a significant thing for me, in that Nebraska was playing some great basketball with Rich King and that crew and Bo Reed, and you would see them knocking off Kansas regularly, and you would see them doing well. And I mean, again, they popped into the top 10, the season before I happened to be in my recruiting. I chose early, though. That's why I made a decision my junior year. I wanted to be able to play my senior year of basketball and just be free of any distractions. I just wanted to be focused on the game and be able to play it at a high level. But I also say there was a period of time when Michigan was kind of down. They weren't necessarily a perennial powerhouse at the time. And there was a group of local kids that was Juwan Howard and Jalen and Chris Webber and that crew. They got to having a conversation, and they're like, "Yo, let's go down here." I mean, we know it don't look like it's the spot to be. You know, everybody's trying to go to Duke, everybody's trying to go to Kentucky, everybody's trying to go to these top programs, and no, let's stay home and let's go down here and we gonna make a name for ourselves. It's gonna take something like that, I think, until Nebraska gets the program turned around. It's gonna take something where it's a group of kids that they're gonna get together and they're gonna say, we're gonna create a legacy. They can far exceed the legacy that we were able. We just wanted to set a foundation. You know, us guys, when we got together and put it together, we wanted to do some top level things, which we were able to do, in that we won a Big 8 championship in the tournament. We won an NIT national tournament. We went to the NCAA and we didn't win that one. So, you know, that's the group that can come together and say, man, let's go down here and get in this NCAA and make some noise. And so that's going to take that next group to be able to kind of come together and do something at that level.
Well, and it's interesting too, because I think when you look at a lot of the things that probably have just kind of steered guys the other way for Nebraska basketball in the past, is that there is this there is kind of the money is involved right now. Not right now it's the program's not just kind of look the other way, and we'll see what happens with Bob Devaney in a few years. It's Pinnacle Bank Arena. It's one of the better arenas around the Big Ten. So, with the Hendricks facility, I mean, they've got very nice facilities. Now they've got kind of the coach that would bring you in a Fred Hoiberg, and certainly he's been able to recruit well with his time here at Nebraska, just not kind of those in-state kids. And I just kind of remember talking to Greg Hepburn, the father of Chucky Hepburn. The kind of thing that stood out to me was that he was saying that they recruited him really well, and kind of going through that Jimmy Watkins article, they were the first to recruit him. That was under Tim Miles, so that could have kind of changed it as well, as that you have a coaching change through there. But that they didn't bring them in as a group. And maybe that would be, if you're trying to get the Nebraska players to kind of stick around, is to get that feeling, get that discussion going of, hey, we could really change this program in this state for a long time if we band together and can steer this program in the right direction. That might be a pitch that they will probably try moving forward, going on with recruiting these guys. But I guess just even for yourself, if you think about yourself being recruited to Nebraska, if it were today, would it be hard to keep you in state, do you think? Because a lot of it has to do with kind of where the program is going. Like you said, at the time you committed to Nebraska, it was heading in the right direction. Would you, even as an in-state kid, kind of think about getting out of the state right now? And ultimately, some people say selfish, but it's self-interest. Think about how, what program's going to move you the best, rather than just kind of being loyal to your home state.
Well, I think I still would have considered it as an option. I think I still would have looked at it. We talk about this on the show quite often. Some people may not hear it when I say it. They may listen to my words and just let it pass on. But I actually say that I'm an underdog competitor. Like, I am one of those guys that believes in the underdog, and I would go and play for the worst of organizations. I mean, and even when I was playing with the Dallas Mavericks, when we were at the bottom of the barrel in the Western Conference, my mentality was never a lose one. There was a created culture of losing that it upset me. Like, I was upset. So I still gave everything that I had and left it out there on the court, being that I could be a change and I can advocate for that change. I'm okay with that. Even at Bellevue West at the time, I mean, we had some, we don't have the same pedigree that they have right now, but we're part of the crew that helped to set the foundation of the building. That's kind of what that's where my heart is. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't that guy that I come from that old school mentality. I wasn't that guy that was like, I want to go play for the Bulls. No, I want to beat the Bulls. You know, even when they won the 72 games, when they broke the record, we were one of the teams at Dallas that was one of them L's, you know, so that was kind of my mentality. It was always that for me. You know what I mean? If they say there's a Fab Five, I want to beat them. You know what I mean? I want to play against the best and beat the best. And even if we're the underdog, that's kind of what my mentality was. So a lot of people may not have the same heart. I think there is a group now that's like, I just want to go to Kentucky, or I just want to go. I mean, I see that in football right now. Everybody and their mama wants to go to Alabama. I get it. I'm not knocking those choices. I understand it. But at the end of the day, I'm saying I would be saying I'm going to Auburn and I'm trying to bust you know what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or I'm going to LSU. I'm trying to bust you know what I'm saying? That's the same mentality that you see from Trey Palmer.
Right. Yeah, I
mean,
yeah, and there certainly is that too. And I don't want, sometimes we kind of get in this conversation like it's generational or something like that.
Nah.
Bryce McGowens is here, right? I mean, he certainly had his choice to go wherever he wanted, and that sales pitch can work. Is that, hey, if you make it happen, you're not just going to be one of the guys that we celebrate and welcome back all the time. You're like the guy. If you make it happen, we'll raise your jersey up in the rafters and all that stuff and celebrate you as you go on to your next level. Whereas, you might get lost in the All-Americans at Kentucky or Duke or Kansas and all that stuff.
Part.
So I think that can work. That recruiting pitch can work. And that's ultimately what's interesting about this whole conversation is that Nebraska has been recruiting well. I think that you would say, at least according to the rankings and some of the players that like the first 5-star of all time, you're getting the JUCO player, the number 1 rated JUCO player in Blaise Keita coming in next year. So, I mean, the recruiting hasn't been awful. It just hasn't led to wins. And that's kind of leads us back to this discussion. Do you think that would help to have an element of a Nebraska born and raised high school player that cheered for the Huskers throughout his whole career? Or is it ultimately just getting the right guy? Because there can be plenty of those guys, but ultimately you need the talent to kind of work together. I think that it could help maybe in spurts or like, in a minute way, but I don't know if like there's a bloodline of Nebraska basketball love that can like spurt it over the top. And I think you just need the right players in the system. So I guess I'm not confounded by their lack of in-state recruiting.
Yeah, I'm not overly blowing that thing as far as that being the top reason or the top thought process of what they need to do. I'm not definitely saying that. I think they definitely need to maintain some pieces and get some pieces. The reason why is those individuals that do have some connection to the state can be foundational pieces, right? They may be role players. That's what Bruce Chubbuck was the likes of them. Bruce Chubbuck was that type of guy. Andy Markowski was that type of guy. Jason Glock, although all his accolades as far as what he did in the state and records that he broke, he was still that type of guy. He was a guy that you can count on. I remember when we played nationally, we didn't have AAU, but we used to go to Vegas and we would compete. We played against some of the best in the country, and we took a Jason Kidd team to where they had to freaking have a falling down in the paint tip that just happened to go in the rim to beat us. You know what I'm saying? And we go to the Final Four if we win that game. And what it was is, it was me, Andy, and Andre Woolridge. It was Badge. It was Curtis Marshall. We were the guys, but we would do our thing and boom, drop them off. And those guys was banging people's heads out, So those foundational pieces are important. They may not necessarily be the perennial stars that come through there, but they are foundational pieces that are important. And really, you just need one. You just need one, and then it can become a snowball process. I think what happened in the past is and I think it started with Barry Collier, kind of crept into Doc a little bit. It definitely was Miles. I remember when I was coaching, I was actually coaching or I was coaching at the time, and I was, trying to get on staff with Coach Miles, and I literally had the ear of Kyrie Thomas, and Justin Patton's mom went to high school with me. And, I had these kids, and I'm trying to sell him on them, and he didn't have high regards on them. And then they turned out to be pros. You see what I'm saying? It's just sometimes they may see it a little bit differently than I do. And then I think the A-collar rope situation where he kind of took his scholarship away, or, kind of brought him in, but then passed on him. It's like a voice genesis, right? What ends up happening is that trickles down, and people remember that. They remember what you did and how you did it. It was the same thing that people always wonder, well, what, Dallas Mavericks won a championship. It's a great organization. Mark Cuban's one of the best owners of, out there. Why aren't they getting the free agencies to come? Well, let me tell you, it was one situation that ended up happening. They win a championship. You have a guy that wants to come back. He wants to run it back in Tyson Chandler. You don't sign him. And then all of a sudden, he goes on his merry way, signs a deal, plays very well, almost won it or won the Defensive Player of the Year thereafter. And then the conversation comes in for some top centers, and they ask him the question, what's up with the Dallas Mavericks organization? Oh, man, they really only love Dirk. They don't really care about anybody else. Really? Okay. Now he's not taking Mark Cuban's call. You see what I'm saying? So you have those types of situations that happen. Same thing, Steve Nash, pay the man his money. He's up for the bag. Next thing you know, he goes over to Phoenix and becomes the MVP, not once, but twice. You see what I'm saying? So then that's the problem. So now you're having problem landing. You're overpaying haphazard, mediocre guys because you're trying to do something. And that's how your foundation of your organization or university kind of falls off.
Yeah, and there seemed to be a disconnect with Nebraska and Omaha, especially like you said, during the Tim Miles era. And part of that was because Creighton did get those guys and they got them to the next level. But I think that that's another obstacle that Nebraska is going to face a long time for the rest of the foreseeable future. As long as Creighton is one of the best teams in the Big East isn't just it's some throwaway conference. It's not the Missouri Valley anymore. So that's a major program that's not just like okay or whatever. I mean, they're consistently better than Nebraska and more relevant than Nebraska. So and they've had success with Omaha kids. So that's the kind of conversations that can trickle down, like you're saying, and say, well, yeah, it worked here with that same coach, and here's why, and he always treated us like well. And so if I think about a kid growing up in Omaha, especially over the last 10 years. They're probably tuned into Creighton. They're not, why watch Nebraska basketball when Creighton's playing top 25 matchups and Nebraska can't get over the hump all the time? So, I mean, that sort of thing, as much as I love Creighton going to the Big East and UNO moving up to Division I and all that stuff, it does take away from Nebraska a little bit. And I know that's kind of an aged conversation, but like you said, there's that trickle down effect that it might be something that eventually Nebraska maybe does take a shot at an in-state kid over somebody else just to kind of repair some of those conversations moving forward. And maybe Hoiberg can be the guy to do that. But obviously it's, I don't also think that there's obviously great examples everywhere of not needing in-state kids to win at the school that you're at. So, it also, if they put together a good class and like they did, if they keep recruiting the way that they have, I don't think it's a big deal, but it is something that's going to be difficult to get a guy out of Omaha, I think, just because until they repair that relationship. And hopefully Hoiberg will be the guys to do that. We'll continue with this conversation here in a little bit, but up next, it's time for Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer. Strick, I know you've got your wine ready. We're going to get some wine and beer coming in here, and we're going to enjoy ourselves here on a Thursday. It's time for Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Meyer. That's coming up next here on The Block.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill has 2 Lincoln locations that are great for any occasion. If you're downtown for a basketball game or a concert, stop by their newest spot at 10th and P. Don't forget to check out their social media pages to learn about any concerts on stage at Rosie's. If you want to avoid a busy downtown scene, head over to the original Rosie's just south of 14th and Highway 2 for a feeling of your local hometown bar. There's plenty of TVs at both places and great food and drink. What are you waiting for? Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill at 10th and P and on South 14th Street.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today, with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Southeast Community College has learning centers in Falls City, Hebron, Nebraska City, Plattsmouth, Wahoo, and York, so that you can take credit and non-credit classes at a center nearby without having to travel an hour or more to campus. By taking online classes and those at a learning center, you can earn your degree from SEC where and when it's convenient for you, all at a cost that won't stand in the way of your education. Learn more about SCC's learning centers at southeast.edu/learning centers. SCC, your path to possible.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In basketball on Tuesday, January 25th, Norris lost to Bennington 49-43. Lincoln Southwest dominated in their game against Fremont 87-45. It was a team effort as 12 players from Southeast scored, Ryland Smith leading all scorers with 17 points. Lincoln Southwest now sits at 9-5 on the season. The Lincoln Southwest girls would lose to Fremont 49-45. Taylor McGay for Fremont would lead all scorers with 21 points and would surpass 2,000 career points. Lincoln Pius lost to Omaha Scott 56-51. The Lincoln Pius girls would also lose in their match 45-39. Waverly beat Elkhorn 44-39. The Lincoln Lutheran girls would win over Bishop Newman 28-14. In cross-country news, Fremont's Ellie Dahl has been named the Gatorade Cross Country Runner of the Year. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Fruitcakes are just for Christmas, right? Gosh, I feel sorry for you. I mean, what if we had done that with bacon? Bacon is only for breakfast. We'd never have bacon cheeseburgers. We'd never be able to save a salad by adding bacon bits. We'd never have Brinner. That's breakfast for dinner. Don't limit yourself. Fruitcakes for St. Patrick's Day. Fruitcakes for graduation. Fruitcakes for Thursday. Beatrice Bakery and Grandma's Fruitcakes are perfect for every occasion. Check them out in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. iElectric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. iElectric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of extremely tender and delicious beef from certified Piedmontese. Prime grade tenderness with a fraction of the fat and calories of normal beef. It's Nebraska-raised product and the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. Change the way you buy beef today at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, just north of 84th and Havelock, or at cpmercado.com.
My name is Rebecca. I struggled with depression for years. I also smoked. That was my world. Finally, I realized that smoking wasn't helping me. It was making my life worse. So I took control and I quit. Now I'm able to run again and take walks with my grandkids. My tip is there's another world out there, and it's a beautiful place to be.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Why wait until Friday to start your weekend?
Go ahead, start right now.
You're thirsty now, and 93.7 The Ticket is here to help you stock up.
Just in time for the weekend when I like to hit the clubs.
Time to broaden your horizons and try some new wine and beer. It's Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer from Meyer's Cork and Bottle.
It is that time of the week. It's time for Thirsty Thursday, and let's hear it at this one as well. Yeah, we got some cans clicking. We got some bottles popping. You know it's time for Thirsty Thursday. Kevin, how are you doing today?
Good, fellas. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. We got Strick back at home. He's about to enjoy some wine himself. He's already drinking. He's beating us to it.
Yeah, he's way ahead of us.
Strick, what do you got in the glass today, buddy? Can you hear me?
Oh, hold on a second.
Crema Monterey, 218.
Strick, what do you got in the glass, buddy?
La Crema Monterey,
Still can't hear him.
218.
What's going on there? We'll get straight.
I'm on. What's going on?
Mic muted, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Y'all don't want to hear me. Y'all don't want to talk to me.
Maybe this button? Nah, not anyway. Oh, we'll get to Strick in a second. Well, maybe we can.
I see how y'all do me. Y'all want to kick me out of Thursday
We'll
Thursday.
just have Sorensen fix it. Sorensen's in here. He's got a bit of a better grasp on drinking than I do. I don't drink too often, but when I do, I don't think that helped Sorensen, but we'll try again. I think either one, maybe both those sites are one tab or the other.
Y'all can't hear me?
I don't care what anyone says. You guys are true professionals.
There's no echo. We're doing great here so far on Thursday. We haven't drank yet, surprisingly, given how it's gone so far. But we will drink, and we're excited to do so. As the beer today kind of looks like orange juice. What is that? What do we got there?
That is, it's from Distill Brewing, and it is their Grateful Dead series. This one's called Tour Bus. And it is an IPA. It's a double dry hopped IPA with Citra and Mosaic hops. It might be one of those beers that isn't quite up your alley if you're not used to drinking them, because hoppy beers, they can be bitter. It's definitely an acquired taste. But the whole idea of doing Thirsty Thursday is to expose you to some things
that's right,
perhaps you wouldn't have normally tried for yourself. And it's kind of fun to watch the evolution of people's tastes over time. And ever since we've been doing the show for 10 years, I've gotten to watch Jake's taste.
My palate has expanded quite
Jake
a bit.
was, first it was Busch Light or Bud Light, yes.
Bud Light, yep.
And then we got him into Boulevard Wheat. And that was a big step to get him into Boulevard Wheat. Now he's a well-rounded gentleman of the alcoholic arts.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm still an IPA guy yet. I can drink them. I used to not be able even to consume them, and so I can drink them. But yeah, my palate has gone from little boy to I think acceptable, respectable.
To be fair, you've grown over this 10 years. You started as a college kid. Usually that's beer, water, central, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right, I can do that. The can you have though is sweet too. Show that to the videos.
That is very cool. Yeah.
It's called Tour Bus from Distill Brewing. And this one just won gold medal at Great American Beer Fest in 2021. So we're excited to have it in the store. And it's just it's a great brewery with great beers. And I'm happy to share it with you.
How often do you guys get new products in the store? I mean, and kind of how do you go about selecting those, I suppose?
Literally almost every day we get new stuff.
Very cool.
And selecting it is just a question of there's essentially 3 or 4 ways that we will select product. Either demand from our customers. That's number one. So we have a lot of customers that are super, super knowledgeable. A lot of times they'll know what's coming down the pike even before we do. And so that's number one. Number two is just doing our research and trying to find out, hey, where's an area of need that we don't currently, or that an area of need that we currently have in the store that we're not currently covering well in order to meet that demand. And then number three, we do have several relatively knowledgeable sales reps that will say, hey, here, I think this is a good fit for the store. And then sometimes just a crapshoot where it's just like, here's something new. Let's give it a try. See how it flies.
I feel like to the common man who wants to know, okay, that's one way to describe it. But the common person wants to know, okay, you have people telling you what to bring in. Do you guys
get to do taste tests yourself? To say,
Oh,
this is gonna
absolutely.
sell. Every product or just some?
Well, there are some where it's like if I sat around and tasted all day, I wouldn't get anything done, right? So,
Well, that sounds fun though.
Well, it trust me, it's not a very expeditious practice. So, there are some things where you just sort of you get the general gist, and if it's a fit, it's a fit. If it's not, it's not. And then there are other things where it's like, hey, yeah, no, I need to try that first before I bring it in. And a lot of times too, when it's fulfilling more of an expensive sort of a spot on the shelf. So, if there's $150 Cabernet that I'm wanting to bring in, I'm going to do some research on there and not just buy it sight unseen. So, there's a variety of ways that we go about it.
How often is there like a new style of beer? So, you got sours, you've got IPAs, you've got wheats. Like, is there like a new style that comes out that becomes hot? Are the styles done?
No, there's a new style literally every day.
What's the newest rage right now in the beer style?
Well, you see a lot of these pastry stouts.
Okay.
Zipline just came out with their Neapolitan ice cream stout. And Neapolitan ice cream is like chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry.
Yeah.
And they made a stout
Blending it.
based on that flavor profile. And so they are constantly being super creative in terms of coming up with new beers, new takes on old beers, barrel aging. It's just endless. And I wouldn't want to be a brewer right now trying to figure out what's going to make people tick, because if you're brewing the same beer that you've made for 10, 20, 30 years or whatever it is, no one wants to try it. You got to be coming out with something new like every month, it seems like, and trying to figure that out would be a nightmare in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm curious. I can't say I've ever had a Neapolitan stout or those pastry stouts you're talking about, but I know those are getting popular out there. You provided, they weren't pastry stouts, but you provided some new things from Zipline even recently too that were interesting for them.
Yeah, and we brought in like the Bourbon County stuff.
Yes.
And you see a lot of times you'll see we even brought in like Fluffaluffagus.
Yeah, so that stuff's delicious.
Yeah, so that's a marshmallow graham cracker, chocolate cocoa nib type thing from White Elm here in town. And so it's just endless. And that's the fun part of my job, is because I never am going to learn everything there is to know. And I constantly feel like the more I learn, the less I know. And so you don't really sort of catalog or inventory your knowledge base. All you do is open doors into areas that you didn't even know existed before, and then it's like mind-blowing, like, okay, here's another rabbit hole I have to go down. But that's the fun part. I never get bored with it.
Yeah, and don't let him fool you. He's extremely knowledgeable just about on everything that you could ask him in the store. But it's a good point. I mean, the internet kind of opened up all our eyes that we don't really know anything. We have to look it all up. So that's kind of fun. By the way, Strick, I don't know if we can hear him yet, but he did type in that he's enjoying himself some, and maybe hopefully I'll pronounce this right, La Crema Monterey 2018.
Pinot Noir man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Smart man.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I think y'all trying to keep me out the show. I see how y'all doing me.
And La Crema is probably certainly right there in the top 10 in terms of Pinot Noir sales in the United States. So, attaboy, Strick. I hope you're enjoying it.
He is enjoying it. For some reason, we still can't hear him, but he's cheering us.
I can see him talking.
So that's
but
good. Yeah, he's really.
We're not trying to talk over you. We just can't hear you.
Yeah, y'all are. Y'all trying to keep me out the show.
Some wine though, so it can't get too
But
bad.
this
We'll
beer,
figure it out.
the beer was good.
Let's get more into that, because it does say I like confident beers, I suppose. It says support flavor boycott bland on the front, and it's
not bland at all.
Yeah, not bland at all. I suppose we kind of got into a little bit to it, like you said, a gold a medal winner already. How long have you had this in store?
Just came in today, so it's as fresh as it
brand new.
possibly can be. And basically IPA, it stands for India Pale Ale, and how it started was the merchant ships who were passing through Britain would stop at this particular brewery on the route to India, and because they would trade, well, most European beers wouldn't survive the trip because they would get bacteria in them, and they didn't have sanitized glass bottles and stuff like that like we do now. And there was one particular brewery who made a beer and they added additional hops to up the alcohol content, and so having that additional alcohol in it combated the bacteria, and so it was the one beer that would actually make the whole trip from Great Britain to India, and so that's how it essentially started. Now it's been modified, and it's just mind blowing the number of different styles of IPA. This is a double dry hopped version with Citra and Mosaic hops, which I think are probably two of the most popular to dry hop a pale ale with or an IPA with. So let's move on to the wine.
It looks delicious as always.
Now, fair warning, an IPA like that rarely sets up a red wine. So you're going to have a little bit of palate shock. So take a couple of small sips.
Do you have any water around here?
Yeah, well,
maybe
this is your water today.
That's right.
Wine is your water.
The best way to rinse your glasses with more booze.
That's how I roll, at least.
So this is called Saint Combe. It's a Côte de Rhône, which the Rhône Valley is the southeastern part of France. They can use up to 13 different grape varietals to make the wine from. The wines are always a blend from this region. The big three are what they call the GSM blend, or Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre. Grenache is sort of similar to Pinot Noir, but it can it's one of the few grape types that gets better as it gets older, and so over time it can become a little more bold than Pinot, but overall I would say Grenache is pretty medium bodied. Syrah adds this peppery quality. It's like this white pepper. Sometimes if it's from Australia, where they call it Shiraz, it's a little more black pepper quality, but and it's going to be a little more robust. And then Mourvedre is a really dark, thick-skinned grape that creates a wine that has a lot of tannin and adds sort of a beefy quality. And so when you blend those together, it creates wine that is super versatile. It goes well with everything. So anytime someone comes in the store and throws me a curveball, like my uncle shot a wild boar, what do you recommend? I go with a wine like this because it goes well with everything. It's a great Thanksgiving wine. It's a great you can do it with stew, you can do it with game, you can do it with poultry. It just works with everything. And this is one of the few Côte de Rhône that's actually more Syrah heavy. Normally you have to get into what's known as a Châteauneuf du Pape, which means New Palace of the Pope. And literally the French built the city to attract the Pope out of the Vatican in Italy and get him to spend more time in France. And it worked. He spent like 2 decades there. And this is hundreds of years ago. But and among the different rules that they had was that the only 2 things that could be grown commercially were grapes and herbs. And what's interesting is this, those herbs will die back and regenerate in the soil, and the grapevines actually pick up on those. And so it will take on a little bit of a sagey, basil-y quality sometimes. And then they also had a law in their brain, a UFO, or like a flying saucer, was a cigar, like a cigar shape. So they passed a law against no flying cigars because they were afraid they would land in the vineyards and wreck the grapevines.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They called them the Les Cigares Volants, which is the violent cigars. And you couldn't, those weren't allowed to fly in the skies. Like they would have any control over that. But,
Right.
and it just kind of an interesting side note, when I was doing my sommelier training, you have to do what's called the deductive tasting method. And what it is, you taste the wines blind, and based on the factors that you're getting, like aroma, rim variation, fruit clues versus non-fruit clues, et cetera, and it takes you down this path, and you have to deductively reason what the wine is without knowing what the wine is. And it was my turn to present, and I was, so doing all this stuff, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, so I'm seeing a little rim variation. That's where the liquid meets the inside of the glass. An older wine's going to have a little bit more of an orangey rim, whereas a younger wine, it'll be more clear like this is. And so that deductively told me that the wine was going to be a little bit older. So I estimated, it's between like 8 and 10 years of age. And then I was getting these non-fruit clues, which means that it's generally more of an old world wine, like a French, Italian, Spanish, etc. Whereas your American wines, your Australian wines, your modern places, those are more fruit forward wines. And then I was getting this white pepper thing, which led me to believe that it had Syrah in it, which would lead me to the Rhône Valley in France. So I'm explaining all this in front of all these 3 master sommeliers and about 30 other wine professionals. And, I'm really, really nervous. And And
understandably
and
so.
the guy says, well, and so I'm like, final analysis. I didn't think it was a Chateauneuf de Pop because none of the other wines we tasted were over $50. And so I was like, well, it's going to be a lesser expensive version from the same area, hopefully. And so I was like, it's a Gigondas, or what I called a Vaccareus, which pronounced I obviously super incorrectly because he went, so which is it? Is it a blah, 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 or blah, 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 blah? And I'm like, what a jerk, you know? So I was like, okay, final analysis, 2006 Gigondas, which is the next province up from Chateauneuf de Pop. You can ride a bike from one town to the other. And he goes, can you name the producer? And I'm like, what an a-hole. Like, he's not doing this to anybody else. It's like he's trying to throw me under the bus, right? And the only one I could think of was Guigal, which is the largest producer in the Rhone Valley. So final analysis, 2006, Guigal, Gigondas, that's all I got, you know. And it's a flat guess. Pulls it out of the bag, 2006, Guigal, Gigondas. I nailed it. Vintage, producer, region. And that was my mic drop moment. I never got the walk-off home run. I never got the game-winning touchdown. But then I was like, hey, I guess I passed.
They stopped picking on you after that?
Yeah, he did. But come to find out, that's why he was picking on me, because I was spot on the
Yeah,
line,
he was wanted to see
but I
how
didn't
far
know
he
that.
could go.
Yeah, exactly.
Those
So
are words I've never heard before in my entire life today.
Gigondas and Vaccareus.
A lot of those words. This is good.
Yeah.
I need a long ways to go to be a sommelier, apparently, you know, to get my wine training done.
It was, like I said, it was one of those things that the sun shines on a dog's hind end every now and again, and it happened that day. So whenever I drink a Côte de Rhône or anything from the Rhone Valley, it reminds me of that day, and you know, I can give myself a little bit of an attaboy.
Unfortunately, we are running up against the clock. It's almost time to end Thirsty Thursday. Before we do, we always want to give you a chance to promote what's coming up at the store.
Okay, so we are doing our allocated bourbon drive. So the hardest to get bourbons, we are doing a sock drive. And for every pair of socks you bring in, you get a ticket for a chance to be able to buy the whiskey at a fair retail price. So we've got Pappy Van Winkle 15. We've got Rip Van Winkle 10-year. We've got Stag Junior. We've got Weller's 12-year and Special Reserve. And anyway, we've so far collected 12,000 pairs of socks to benefit the.
Very well done.
Yeah, and so it's everything is going to the. I'm just drawing a blank on where homeless people go right now, but it's
People City Mission.
Exactly. Sorry, I was just having a brain cramp, and this makes for wonderful radio.
Well,
Thank
you
you.
get the wine in your brain. It's
to,
fine.
to benefit the city mission, and so you've got a couple more days. It goes through the end of the month. We're going to be drawing on February 1st. So if you're a bourbon lover and want to do some good, bring by some socks to Myers Cork and Bottle, and we'd love your donation and love for you to have the chance at one of these hard to get whiskeys.
Well, that's one of our favorite segments every week, but unfortunately, it does have to come to an end. But we'll be back for Thirsty Thursdays next week. Once again, thank you to Kevin Meyer of Myers Cork and Bottle for doing it. When we come back, it's time for Shootout with Strick. Your chance to beat Strick in a game show. If you do, you win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. So give us a call, 402-464-5685 right now, 402-464-5685 for your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Today, the game show topic is the NFL playoffs, which are coming up around the weekend. We'll talk much about that in the 5 o'clock hour as well. That's all coming up next here on The Block.
You hear that? That's the sound of extremely tender and delicious beef from Certified Piedmontese. Prime grade tenderness with a fraction of the fat and calories of normal beef. It's Nebraska-raised product and the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. Change the way you buy beef today at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, just north of 84th and Havelock, or at cpmercado.com.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill has 2 Lincoln locations that are great for any occasion. If you're downtown for a basketball game or a concert, stop by their newest spot at 10th and P. Don't forget to check out their social media pages to learn about any concerts on stage at Rosie's. If you want to avoid a busy downtown scene, head over to the original Rosie's just south of 14th.
Are you able to hear me now?
The feeling of your local hometown bar. There's plenty of TVs at both places and great food and drink. What are you waiting for? Rosie Sports Bar and Grill at 10th and P and on South 14th Street.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies expected here for our Thursday. A little breezy with northwest winds gusting over 20. We'll top out near 4. Cover lingering into our Friday. Very seasonable as high temps will once again be in the upper 30s, close to 40. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
My name is Rebecca. I struggled with depression for years. I also smoked. That was my world. Finally, I realized that smoking wasn't helping me. It was making my life worse. So I took control and I quit. Now I'm able to run again and take walks with my grandkids. My tip is there's another world out there, and it's a beautiful place to be.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Fruitcakes are just for Christmas, right? Gosh, I feel sorry for you. I mean, what if we had done that with bacon? Bacon is only for breakfast. We'd never have bacon cheeseburgers. We'd never be able to save a salad by adding bacon bits. We'd never have Brenner. That's breakfast for dinner. Don't limit yourself. Fruitcakes for St. Patrick's Day. Fruitcakes for graduation. Fruitcakes for Thursday. Beatrice Bakery and Grandma's Fruitcakes are perfect for every occasion. Check them out in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Security First Bank. We're the bank, and we make your mortgage more manageable with flexible terms, trusted advice, and competitive rates. When you work with us, we'll know your name, but we'll also get to know your home dreams too. Security First Bank of Lincoln. Voted best small bank in Nebraska by Newsweek magazine. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 505011.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
It is time for Shootout with Strick here on 93.7 The Ticket. This is your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. All you have to do is beat Strick in a game show. And a bonus, Strick is drinking wine. He's almost all the way done with his wine glass there. So maybe he's a little groggy, not on top of his game.
Y'all didn't want me in the convo for the wineries.
I noticed that. We said just mute Strick right now.
That's all right. I got
to
watch some hoops. I got to watch some balls, so I stayed off y'all's call.
It wasn't purposeful. We'll figure that out in the future. I had Big Sky come in here and show me what kind of buttons we did not hit correctly. So hopefully we'll get Stricken in on those Thirsty Thursdays moving forward. But don't fear, he did have his glass of wine as well. We do have Scott on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Scott, how have you been? Are you preparing for the NFL playoffs this weekend? That's the theme of the game show today.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited.
Yeah, he's ready. Who's not? NFL playoffs have been awesome so far. So, Scott, you will go second. First, we'll get Eric Strickland's score, and then you'll just have to beat that. Strick, are you ready for the game show?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, it starts in 3, 2, 1. Who is the Bengals' second leading receiver behind Jamar Chase? Tyler Boyd or T. Higgins?
Higgins.
It was Higgins. Chief safety Daniel Schwartz has played all 8 of his professional years in Kansas City. Where did he play his college ball? BYU or Utah State?
BYU.
That's correct. Who was the second on the Rams in sacks this season behind Aaron Donald? Leonard Floyd or Von Miller?
Von Miller.
It was Floyd. Which 49ers cornerback had 7 forced fumbles this season? Jimmy Ward or Josh Norman?
Josh Norman.
That's right. How many regular seasons wins did 49ers finish with? How many wins 49ers?
9.
It was actually 10.
Dang it! I was going to say 10.
Performance. You did get 3 points, though. That's a very respectable score. Just missed the money ball there. I'm not speaking too clearly because I had a few drinks myself. So we'll give this a go again with Scott. Scott, all you have to do is beat 3 points. If you tie, we go to the tiebreaker. I guess I shouldn't say all you have to do. That's a pretty good score. So are you ready to go?
I am.
All right, Scott, we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Who led the Bengals this year with 14 sacks? Trey Hendrickson or Sam Hubbard?
Hubbard.
It was Hendrickson. Where did the Rams' second leading receiver, Van Jefferson, play his college ball after transferring from Ole Miss? Tennessee or Florida?
Tennessee.
It's actually Florida. Who's the Chiefs' backup quarterback? Chase Daniel or Chad Henne?
Chad Henne.
That's correct. 49ers, Deebo Samuel and George Kittle are the only 2 on that team to have receiving targets gain over 300 yards this year. Who's the third? Brandon Ayuk or Mohamed Sanu?
Ayuk.
That's correct. How many regular season wins did Cincinnati finish with?
10.
That's correct. Moneyball hits. He gets 4 points and the win. Congratulations to Scott on $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Of course, you've earned your boom shakalaka here.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka.
Here's your
That's
Scott, we're just giving you a
3
chance to
money
talk
ball
trash to
losses,
Strick right
bro. 3.
for hitting the money
Hey,
ball.
Strick. That was good stuff, man. What a battle.
Great battle.
He
great
goes
battle.
the high route and goes it and gives you a good, but it was a good battle. Congratulations to Scott for winning his $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. I almost forgot to give the Stone Cold shout out here.
Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
So Stone Cold's excited about it. Scott should be excited about it. $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Valiant effort from Strick, but the money ball lands today. What an epic matchup there, Strick.
It was a good one today. I'll take another money ball loss, man. It is what it is. Dang
It happens. You almost hit your money ball too, which is interesting. But either way, congratulations once again to Scott for winning. We got to take a quick break. Nebraska basketball, by the way, is at halftime, trailing Wisconsin 39-31. So maybe we'll briefly talk about that. But a lot of NFL talk around the corner here at the 5 o'clock hour with Strick here on the block on 93.7 The Ticket.
You hear that? That's the sound of extremely tender and delicious beef from Certified Piedmontese. Prime grade tenderness with a fraction of the fat and calories of normal beef. It's Nebraska-raised product and the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. Change the way you buy beef today at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, just north of 84th and Havelock, or at cpmercado.com.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
Security First Bank. We're the bank, and we make your mortgage more manageable with flexible terms, trusted advice, and competitive rates. When you work with us, we'll know your name, but we'll also get to know your home dreams too. Security First Bank of Lincoln. Voted best small bank in Nebraska by Newsweek magazine. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 505011.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season, enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Prescription opioids can be addictive and dangerous.
Opioid pain medication took everything that I had. Nothing mattered more than getting my fix. Knowing that it could have been prevented makes it worse. It just takes one.
Prescription opioids. It only takes a little to lose a lot. Developed by CDC.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for 3! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
93.7 The Ticket veteran and Creed stan, Jake Bakoven.
I love that band, Creed.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Hold up.
Welcome back on the block. I'm E. Strick and my partner Jake Bakoven is here. We're going to talk now a little bit about the NFL championships, the AFC and the NFC championship weekend starting on Sunday. Wow. It's about to jump off. We're going to get into it a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit right here on 93.7 The Ticket FM. And we're just gonna kind of give a little preview. We're gonna give a little prediction. We're gonna find out who's gonna get the job done. and we're going to start it off right now. Are you ready, Jake?
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
All right, so here we go. The NFL Conference Championships are coming up this weekend. There are only 4 games remaining. Cincinnati Bengals, Kansas City Chiefs, San Francisco 49ers, and the Los Angeles Rams will be battling to claim the 2 Super Bowl slots that are available for the AFC and NFC. The Bengals visit the Chiefs at 3:05 Eastern on CBS, and the AFL title on the line, where the 49ers will visit the Rams at 6:40 p.m. Eastern on Fox to play for the NFC title. This is setting up to be a nicely potential, awesome, fire, just bombastic type of weekend, man. I'm excited.
I haven't heard that word in a while.
Yeah, I'm a bombastic. It's a bombastic weekend, man. I'm just so excited about what's coming up. The Rams and the Chiefs matchup. They're at home in California for the Rams. The Rams' last visit to the Super Bowl was in 2016 against the Patriots, where they lost in a defensive-minded game to one GOAT, and his name is
Thomas Brady.
Thomas Brady. And the one alleged GOAT, and his name is
Patrick Mahomes coming up.
Bill Belichick.
Oh, Bill Belichick. That's what you're saying, yeah.
The alleged GOAT. We still ain't figured out whether or not he's the GOAT yet or not. They lost 13-3. The Rams have another shot at returning to the Super Bowl for a potential matchup with the next gen of great quarterbacks in Patrick Mahomes. Both games are rematches where the underdogs have beaten the favorite in the last month. The Bengals beat the Chiefs in the Cincinnati in week 17, and a week later, the 49ers clinched the playoff spot by beating the Rams in Los Angeles, the site of this weekend's game. Let's talk first about the Bengals and the Chiefs. Bach, you're ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Cincinnati overcame a 14-point deficit in visiting the Chiefs, 34-31 in week 17. It is a foreshadowing of this divisional round, in which they defeated the Titans. The rookie kicker Evan McPherson lifted the Bengals with a victory kick of 20 yards, field goal as time expired. Joe Burrow, he just outplayed Mahomes. That is what it is. Joe Burrow outplayed him by throwing for 446 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he was 30 for 39. He had a field day. He was getting busy. He was letting it fly, getting the ball to rookie phenom Jamar Chase. He ended up going for 266 yards and 3 touchdowns on 11 receptions. Burrow also was sacked 4 times by the Chiefs in that, and so he sustained a lot of pressure, in which we know what happened against the Titans, where he was sacked 9 times.
Yeah.
So in that, here's the question of the day, Bach. How do you feel about the rematch games and how tough it is to beat a team back-to-back, especially, well, you know, there's going to be one that's played 3 times, but we're going to talk about this one, especially in a back-to-back game of this magnitude. What do you think about it, and how hard is it to do?
Well, it's very difficult, and they always say that, right? It's hard to beat a good team twice, and it's just because that's a good team, right? I mean, it's not, you don't say that with a bad team, and it's easy to go and beat a bad team twice, So the Chiefs are one of the best teams in the NFL, probably still the favorite at this point to win the Super Bowl. But the Bengals, in my mind, are kind of playing with house money, right? They're not expected to be here, so they can kind of maybe relax a little bit mindset and try to fling the ball around, and that's where they've had success, as you mentioned, against the Chiefs in the past. The secondary of the Chiefs isn't the best. Cincinnati has a few different weapons, obviously Jamar Chase being the main one, but T. Higgins, they get their tight end involved. I mean, they've got some good players. Tyler Boyd's a solid third receiver, so I mean they've got the ability to fling the ball around. You do worry a little bit about, like you said, the sack total against Joe Burrow. Obviously, that was a problem in his first season. It was a problem in last week, and the Chiefs have a pretty good pass rushing unit. The Melvin Ingrams and Frank Clarks of the world. So, I mean, they've got some good players that can compete there. But either way, we can break this down as much as we want to. I think you're going to see a similar thing like you did last week. I think you have 2 of the top quarterbacks in the league in this game. Obviously, Burrow's got a little bit of catching up to do to get in Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, stratosphere, I suppose, but he's on his way. and he might have the best weapon on the field. Now, that's saying a lot because Kansas City obviously has two of the greatest weapons. That's part of what makes Patrick Mahomes and that offense so tough to stop. But Jamar Chase is, as far as a young guy, setting rookie records for receiving, and we know that Burrow will go his way. Joe Burrow will go his way heavy if he sees him in single coverage, which allows the Chiefs start doubling down some of those other guys to get open. So they've played those close games. Or played that close game a few weeks ago. I expect very much the same thing, and it could come down to, like it did last week, who has the ball last in their hands. It's going to be incredibly difficult to beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. A lot of people are saying that last week's was basically the defunct championship game, right? The Bills are probably the second best team in the AFC. But I think that might help the Bengals mindset a little bit, is that they can play more freely.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, so then when we talk about that, then what is your prediction for this weekend? Who do you think is going to get the job done?
Well, as much as I'll be cheering for the Bengals, but I think the Kansas City Chiefs, you got to like them at home. Again, their weapons, Travis Kelce, probably underrated, even as much exposure as he gets, and is highly regarded as maybe the top tight end in the NFL. He does so much in that offense, and we know, if you didn't hear last week how they got in a field goal position, he broke off from his route. He told Mahomes pre-snap he was going to, because he knew there would be an opening in the middle in the seam with the defense that the Bills were playing, which allowed them to get that field goal, of course. So, I mean, great chemistry there, and that is going to help out significantly. Of course, Burrow and Chase have their own chemistry dating back to their time at LSU. But I just, it's always hard to pick against the Chiefs. The defense, which did have problems with Burrow, has come on later in the season. But between, Hill and Kelce, when you need a play to be made, you expect those guys to be able to come up and do it. So I like the Chiefs. I think it's a close game, though, somewhere in the range of 30-24 type of victory for the Chiefs this weekend.
Well, that's a great prediction, but I'm going to say a little bit something different. But when I think about what the Chiefs have been able to do, I think they got tremendous weapons. They have a lot of different places to which they can go. I mean, to be able to score in 13 seconds, that's phenomenal to me. I think that's just crazy. But that's the kind of weapons that they have when you look up and down their roster. I mean, their line is phenomenal. Their running game with their layer is solid. Of course, Mahomes is phenomenal. But at the end of the day, there's, the way I'm going to see it, I'm going to look at it is this. I personally think that this game will likely come down to how many turnovers the Bengals can force, right? Whether or not, it's also going to come down to how well that Burrow plays. I think it's going to come down to that. I think the Bengals have a tremendous shot of getting it done and beating them twice, just because I think they can pull off the upset. I think one thing that they have an advantage at, right? You have Jamar Chase, you have Burrow, you have some other elements. I think their offensive line is going to be a trouble spot, so you got to really watch that. But I think the X factor is going to be Joe Mixon in this particular game. I think Joe Mixon may be able to make the difference in this game, and I think they're going to pull it out, man. I think this has the potential to be a super upset weekend all the way across the board. But we'll talk more about the next one right now. Now moving over to what I think is the best matchup of the night, and that is the Rams 49ers. It's fitting for the NFC title game that will pit two teams who are arguably NFL's most competitive division. San Francisco 49ers swept the Rams, including a 27-24 overtime win at SoFi Stadium in Week 18, where they clinched the playoff berth to be able to get in, to be able to play in this game. They had to go get the job done, and they got it done. Like most teams this season, the Rams had no answer. And let me repeat that. They had no answer for Deebo Samuel in both the regular season meetings. Samuel came up big, and I mean big, in both outings. The first meeting, he had 8 touches for 133 yards, 2 touchdowns for the 49ers, and a 31-10 win over the Rams in Week 10. And in the second meeting, Samuel got busy and had 140 yards total and a score on 12 touches in San Francisco's Week 18 win against the Los Angeles Rams. The Niners got some big help also and was complimented in both games by the running game of Elijah Mitchell, who ran for a combined 176 yards on 48 carries. Also noting that Jimmy Garoppolo was steady Eddie in both of those games, while the 49ers offensive line did not allow Aaron Donald, the greatest lineman right now in the game, Aaron Donald, didn't touch Garoppolo or take him down in either of those matchups. So the question is for you, Bach, is Jimmy Garoppolo, is he capable or even more capable of doing more things in this game than he's done so far for the 49ers in the playoffs? Or does he have to just not make mistakes in order to get the win for this game? Does he have to be more of a QB, i.e., similar to what Mahomes did, or any of the top quarterbacks right now in the league? Does he have to be Aaron Rodgers-ish in order to get this job done? Or does he just have to be just basic, get the job, no problems, no errors, no issues? What does he have to do in order to get the win?
Well, at a certain point, you might need him to make the game-winning drive, right? And of course, we remember that if you remember that Super Bowl, he missed a wide-open throw, which probably would have won the Super Bowl for the 49ers. So that's kind of the fear. He usually has one of those a game that you kind of put palm to forehead at that point if you're a 49ers fan. So that's why the pace of play is very important in this game. We talk about how hard it is to beat a team twice. They're going for 3 now on the Rams, and the Rams have been one of the hotter teams in the NFL. Obviously have one of the best rosters when you look at the Aaron Donalds, the Jalen Ramseys, the Von Millers, and then on the other side, Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford. I mean, they've got the roster put together to make this playoff run, and that's what I've kind of liked about the Rams for throughout the years. Is I thought if they got hot at the right time, they could do it, and here they are with this opportunity. I love it. I love the California rivalry. There's not much of a feel for the St. Louis Rams here, right? I mean, it's almost like you completely forgot about that era as the LA Rams and 49ers are back at it. So it'll be kind of a fun West Coast battle there, but it's going to be very important for the 49ers to keep this pace of play within Jimmy's wheelhouse, right? Keep this game close. I continue to be amazed by Deebo Samuel and how much he's able to do. Don't get me wrong, that 49ers roster is well put together. I mean, they even their secondary, which might be their weakness, Jimmy Ward and those guys, they're still pretty good. So they've got a good group put together, but they almost do it a lot of times without anybody really standing out other than Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel's kind of their do-it-all guy, and I think that's just too much to ask to overcome against this Rams team altogether. I think they're hungry. They're ready. They got that extra incentive where they're not going to take the 49ers lightly because they've already lost to them twice. I think the Rams ultimately get it done and match up with the Chiefs, which was my pick earlier in the Super Bowl. And I think that this game has a potential to get, even though the games have been close, a little bit wider of a gap, because I see, if you do have to start making Jimmy do something, Jimmy G do something more than he's used to, you could see those picks piling up or something happening there. So I think the Rams win in a 2-possession game.
Interesting. So then what is your prediction? You say a 2-touchdown game? Is that what I'm hearing you say? Okay, so in essence, 2-possession game. Okay.
Yeah, 13. Just in case it's a couple field goals there instead. But yeah, 13, 14 points. I think the Rams get a significant victory here.
All right. So in essence, basically, my thoughts on it is the Los Angeles' offense, I think they found their stride. I think with the addition of Odell Beckham and the emergence of Cam Akers and the likes of them and all that they've put together, just really they put it together for this specific moment. This is what they built. Whatever they did in the short term, in the interim, was for this specific moment. So, but I really do think that the 49ers had the Rams number this year. I think in both games during the regular season, I really believe that it's not going to change coming into this Sunday. I think that if they're healthy and the 49ers have the players and the full aspect of their roster that are there, and ready, and I'm sure they're going to be ready. I just don't think that they can be beat in this specific game. I think it's just going to be a super upset weekend. Now, the only thing that's giving me pause is that this game is a home game, basically. You know what I'm saying? When I'm thinking about it, I'm looking at the Rams is thinking about a home opportunity to be able to play for the Super Bowl. So that's the only thing that's giving me pause. But I think that San Francisco's defense will continue to dominate. I think with Samuel, they have no answer for him, as I stated earlier. I think Mitchell and Kittle will carry the offense. Once again, I think they'll win this game, and I think they'll win it, in a close game, but I think they'll win it. No question, no doubt. That's my thought on it. But hey, we'll see. So basically, as we close out the segment, let me see, where were we at? Oh yeah, we got a little more time. Let's talk about this debate then. It seems like there's a little debate out there. There's a little. It seems like there's a little hatred. There's a little, maybe Jeff Garcia didn't get it done, and maybe he's not liking what's going on out there in the mix. But Mina Kimes and Jeff Garcia is got a little beef going on. So what's your thoughts on that beef that's happening between Mina Kimes and Jeff Garcia?
Well, it's basically all about Jimmy Garoppolo and whether he can get it done. Mina Kimes basically saying that Jimmy G's kind of just along for the ride. He's not the reason that they're winning. And maybe she said it in a way that wasn't as nice as that. So Jeff Garcia, came in and had his own Instagram post about Mina Kimes and her lack of, I guess, playing or something. I mean, he included that in there as why they I'll just go ahead and read it. He said the fact that there are people out here given a platform to talk about something they have never done is hilarious, and that's how you have to look at her. She's a joke, so let's just laugh at her and support Jimmy and root on our Niners to go beat and so on and so forth. But it's basically it's calling out somebody that hasn't played before, which is kind of funny. It's kind of a funny dynamic for us to talk about. You yourself before, and obviously I didn't play at a very high level, but I think especially we're seeing it's especially not very I guess politically correct at this point because she's a female. So you also kind of throw that in there. But I think that there is a good kind of mix there, right? I mean, obviously, if you really want to get kind of into the locker room, that sort of discussion, there's different kind of questions that you're going to need a former player to answer. You're going to have somebody that's been there and done that before to get to. But to have an opinion on Jimmy G, I think if you watch enough football and if you cover it for a living, as Mina Kimes does, I think it's fair to say she kind of knows what she's talking about. And we're seeing nowadays, specifically on the women part, women getting jobs in Major League Baseball and in NFL and in coaching positions. So and then there's also the other fact of well-known, very good coaches in the industry that never played at that level either and have made, very good, have been very successful. So it's kind of silly to me to have that take at this point when there's just so many good examples of people knowing the game very well that have never played at the highest level. At the same point, I can kind of understand where he's coming from. But let's just be honest here. Like, there's every time that an NFL game ends in a tie, there's a player playing in that game that doesn't know the NFL rules are going to land like that, where anybody covering it obviously does. So, I mean, there's a little bit of truth involved for everybody, but I think in the end, Jeff Garcia, surprised, not known as the best guy in the world altogether in general, it comes off looking a little bit silly here.
Yeah, I also that's some of the same thing that they're saying right now about your boy, Stephen A. Smith, where he's talking about that's your boy, where he's talking about the Michael Jordan and the LeBron. He's talking about LeBron being on the Mount Rushmore of all time NBA. And listen, I'm not a LeBron hater, but the fact remains is, who are you to think that you know the best of more than some of the people that not only have played the game, been around the game, played with some of the best in the game, and then you feel like you can just come in and dictate who should be on Mount Rushmore? So those are some of the kind of similar things in which they're trying to make an assessment as to, Mina Kimes as well, right? Garcia, who's not only played for the 49ers, spent some good time there, had some success, had some failures, and understands the game at a different level. Yeah, I mean, you can have your opinions and make those opinions known, but to be like you stating those as facts is something that people would have to question, being that you barely played JUCO ball, Stephen A. Smith, and you over here running your mouth. So anyway, we on the block We have some ideas on how we like to get it done, and we get it done right here on the block. Me and Jake Bakovin doing it right here 4 to 6 every night. Join us on the block as we come back, and we'll talk a little bit more when we come back after this on 93.7 The Ticket FM.
You hear that? That's the sound of extremely tender and delicious beef from Certified Piedmontese. Prime grade tenderness with a fraction of the fat and calories of normal beef. It's Nebraska-raised product and the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. Change the way you buy beef today at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, just north of 84th and Havelock, or at cpmercado.com. This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In basketball on Tuesday, January 25th, Norris lost to Bennington 49-43. Lincoln Southwest dominated in their game against Fremont 87-45. It was a team effort as 12 players from Southeast scored, Ryland Smith leading all scorers with 17 points. Lincoln Southwest now sits at 9-5 on the season. The Lincoln Southwest girls would lose to Fremont 49-45. Taylor McGabe for Fremont would lead all scorers with 21 points and would surpass 2,000 career points. Lincoln Pius lost to Omaha Scott 56-51. The Lincoln Pius girls would also lose in their match 45-39. Waverly beat Elkhorn 44-39. The Lincoln Lutheran girls would win over Bishop Newman 28-14. In cross-country news, Fremont's Ellie Dahl has been named the Gatorade Cross Country Runner of the Year. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
This is Dan Friedman. In recent years, over 1/3 of all Nebraska traffic crashes have been caused by drivers aged 15 to 19. If you're a teen driver, don't become another statistic. Keep your eyes on the road. And if you're a parent, please remember that safe driving habits start with you. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices. For almost 60 years, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season, enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street. Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies expected here for our Thursday. A little breezy with northwest winds gusting over 20. We'll top out near 40. Heading into tonight, partly cloudy, a low dropping down to 15. Cloud cover lingering into our Friday, very seasonable as high temps will once again be in the upper 30s, close to 40. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, welcome to Big Chain Bar and Grill. Can I get you a drink? Which game were you hoping to see? Doesn't matter. I don't know what channel the game's on anyway. Are you ready to order? Okay, here's your check. Come back and see us again, okay?
What?
Hey, welcome back into Upside.
Slow down and enjoy the game at the Upside Bar and Lounge. Comfortable seating, plenty of screens, a great food and drink menu, and no one trying to shove you out the door. Come in, hang out, and take it all in at the Upside Bar and Lounge, open daily just east of 27th and Pine Lake.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yay, yay. Ice Cube in the house. Yay, yay. Hey, listen, we back on the block right here. I'm Strick and that's Bach, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome back. We thank you for joining us tonight. We will have post game right after this. We know the Huskers right now are playing a game against the Wisconsin Badgers. We will be right here to give you the on the block post game information news. It's not looking good right now. That's all we can really say. It ain't looking real hot for the Huskers, but hopefully the ladies will be able to turn it around, or maybe they can make a little run at it. We will see. But there's a lot of things happening around the NFL. We just came off NFL predictions and talks. I think there's going to be upsets. My partner, Bach, thinks it's going to be, basically the superstars that think they're the winners. I'm the underdog king. He's the
I like the home teams.
No, he's the home team. Yeah, that's him. He's the homer. I'm the the ones that want to get it. So we're gonna see when we come back on Monday. You can join us right here at 4 to 6 on 93.7 The Ticket. Call us, text us also on the Honda Lincoln hotline at 402-464-5685. If you just want to talk, chop it up, give your opinion, give your thoughts. We don't mind, hitting you back like Serena Williams across the net. We don't mind having those types of conversations, but also you can text us at the Sauter Heyman text line at 402-464-5685 if you think our opinions are on point or not. We're okay with that. But at the end of the day, there's been a lot of turns in the coaching realm right now. Some snowballs are starting to fall, and some of that has started with the Broncos and the Bears. The Bears seem to stay with their brand, hiring the defensive-minded head coach, and the Broncos seem to go with the offensive-minded head coach. So there's some thoughts on those, and we're going to get into that right now in this segment. And so we'd love to hear your thoughts on those as well. Right now, the Bears. We'll talk about the Bears, Bach. The Bears seem like they hired a gentleman by the name of Matt Eberflus. He's a 51-year-old defensive coordinator in 2018 with the Colts, after previously working as a linebacker coach for the Browns in 2009 and 10. Also spent some time with the Stars of the Dallas Cowboys in 2011 and 17 through 17. He took over as the passing game coordinator duties in his last season at Dallas. But one of the things about him as a defensive guy, the Colts happened to be ranked in the top 10, not only in scoring, but also in total defense during Eberflus's 4 years in Indiana, which is a tremendous feat, as well as fourth in rushing yards allowed and second in turnovers per game, something that the Bears used to be known for, have lost their savor, over a little bit of time, and they're trying to get back to it. But some of the people, Bach, and this is the question towards you, some of the people, some of the pundits, some of the people in the industry or follow the industry, a lot of them are thinking that's kind of a bad move, being that you've got a young quarterback in Justin Fields, and you're hoping to get somebody who can shape, mold, groom, and put him in a better place to give him a better feel about what it is to be an elite quarterback in this league. What is your thoughts on the coaching hire, and also on what the pundits are saying?
Yeah, ultimately, I pretty much just agree with that expression is the pundits, right? Is that I think the Bears needed to go offense here. You look at the four finalists in the NFL right now for the going into championship weekend. They're all offensive minded coaches, and sometimes we kind of go through these different eras. And certainly like a Bill Belichick, a defensive minded coach, if you get the right guy, it doesn't matter, and you can obviously use that as your strength. But the Bears kind of have defense put together, right? They had a sixth ranked defense, I believe, in the league this past year. So maybe the idea is to keep going along with that. They also interviewed Dan Quinn, another defensive minded guy who's going to stick with the Cowboys. But it's kind of interesting that that's the way that they wanted to go. Like you said, it's kind of on brand for the Bears. That's kind of the way they like to win their Midwestern football, right? You know, play a tough defense and have a running game and all that. And they have not had a special quarterback. I mean, it's hard to even remember the last time that they've had a special quarterback. You might go back to Jim McMahon.
Jim McMahon, right?
You know, he wasn't like a great all-time quarterback or anything like that. They just won a Super Bowl with him, so you put him in that category. I think that it was time for them to try to change that brand to a bit, or at least, I mean, you can bring somebody along with you. It's hard to make these, you know, totalitarian type of judgments, I suppose, based on what they've done without knowing the coordinators they're going to bring in. If he brings in a really hot young offensive coordinator, well then, okay, I can forgive it a little bit, but I would have went the other way. I would have tried to pair you. I mean, you finally got a franchise quarterback. Maybe it's partially saying what they believe in Josh Fields there, or Justin Fields. But you finally have a project that's worth working with. I think that you would pair him at this point with another up and coming offensive minded guy, or they even interviewed Jim Caldwell. That's another route you could have gone. An experienced guy who's been a head coach before. This is also a new head coach. So, you know, sometimes you want to get away from the retread coaches in the NFL. Sometimes it makes sense. And I think Jim Caldwell has done just about as much as anybody could do in Detroit and still was let go and hasn't been given much of a chance since then. So I would have went the other way. I think I think right now, that's kind of it's kind of a copycat league, and that's what's successful right now is the offensive minded young head coaches, and I think that especially with Justin Fields, it was just, I think it just all set up, right? You already have the defense at least pretty manageable. It's a top 10 defense. So, you know, you hope the new defensive coordinator can come in and take it. I suppose their mindset is that they want to keep that way and then hope that Justin Fields, a bit of a scrambler, right? A guy that can play outside the typical play calls on, from the offensive coordinator, that he can kind of, rise by himself. But I think that they should have went offense. I think that part of this just kind of feels like the same old Bears, which hasn't worked for the longest time outside of a few playoff appearances. They've needed some offensive prowess, and they just they're not addressing that, I don't think, in this hire.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it's you never know, right? You never know, because sometimes it's about delegation. The coach, you want to get back to getting the stops and doing the things and getting back to the heart of the core of what Chicago Bears was all about, which was obviously defense. They had that for a while and just didn't have the quarterback to be able to get it done. And now all of a sudden you need a quarterback type of guy to kind of, or offensive type of guy to kind of help mold and shape a young mind of a Justin Fields. And he's got some talent. He's got a good arm. He's got some of the tools, but just really didn't have the Nagy, just, I don't think, was the guy there for him at that particular time. But we'll see, we'll see how it works out. Hopefully delegation, hopefully he'll hire a strong coordinator on the offensive side, or a passing game guy, or quarterback's coach that will be able to help to get him right and get that organization back on track, as they're a top tier organization. So hopefully they can do so. Next, we'll turn it over to the Broncos. Basically, they were also set to hire Green Bay's offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, which is also the next head coach that will be replacing Vic Fangio. And so we found that he was let go at the end of the season. He has been around for a long time, being that Nathaniel Hackett has. He spent a lot of time starting with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He spent a lot of time, he's been around for a while, finishing up his last tenure before he was with the Green Bay, with Jacksonville Jaguars, that organization, as a quarterback's coach and also the offensive coordinator, before taking the same position with Matt LaFleur and the Packers in 2019 to 2021, which helped basically to bring and emerge. Listen, now, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. We're not saying that it was basically Hackett that made Aaron Rodgers, right? Well, I'm not saying that, but he was part of the process of, helping Aaron Rodgers to become more of Aaron Rodgers and doing what Aaron Rodgers does, right? So Aaron Rodgers, obviously, in his tenure there, was the 2020 MVP, and potentially even this year, he may end up becoming the MVP in 2021. So, therefore, do you think this gives the Broncos a little edge? You think it gives them a little, just a little, backyard conversations that maybe in free agency, Aaron Rodgers may pull the trigger and jump over to the Mile High City instead of the Tundra and do some things? And also with Devontae Adams, that's two possible pieces you can single. I mean, the Broncos got some pieces now. They got some things over there that they can do some things, but having those two come over could change the dynamics. What's your thought?
Yeah, you wonder, because the Broncos, obviously we've seen this at, the college level where you hire somebody's dad just to get the recruit or whatever. If Hackett has that good of a relationship with those guys, maybe it's a hire to get Aaron Rodgers. And obviously the speculation will begin there. For what it's worth, Devontae Adams is a free agent. So, it's not just speculation there. He's going to go, he might still go back to Green Bay, but it's a bidding war for him. So that's going to be interesting. I just spent the whole last conversation talking about hot young offensive coordinators, and now they're changing the league and kind of taking over. And here they have like three of the four finalists now going up in the playoffs here. So I can't say this is too bad of a hire for the Broncos, right? Nathaniel Hackett kind of fits into that category, 42-year-old young up and coming offensive coordinator. So I like the hire. The problem with Denver is that I don't know how much of it's been that Gary Kubiak or Vic Fangio haven't been the greatest coaches in the world. I think they've been limited by their roster over the last several years, obviously since Peyton Manning took that downfall. They won the Super Bowl the year that he kind of took that downfall. And since then, they haven't been able to find an answer at quarterback. And usually their roster isn't something that's going to get you a bunch of wins outside of the quarterback position, a la the 49ers, right? So I like Hackett. Obviously, if it does bring Aaron Rodgers or Devontae Adams, one or the other, or definitely both, it's a huge coup for them. And I like the taking the chance on a young hot offensive coordinator that spent a lot of time with Matt LaFleur. I think that's a good idea. So I like it. My problem with the Broncos continues to be, I don't think you have a franchise quarterback, and I don't think you have a very incredibly well put together roster. You kind of missed your timing there. Like Von Miller, right? He's out the door now, out with the Rams. He's no longer an elite player, so they got rid of him at the right time. But they didn't. Who's their big piece moving forward that's going to make the Broncos rise, especially in that division, to compete against Patrick Mahomes? It's difficult. So when I look at it, I like the hire. I'm not sure if they'll give him more than 2 to 3 years, because that's what they've been doing for every one of their head coaches since 2014 when John Fox left Denver. And again, I don't know if that's by the fault of the coach or the front office and John Elway there not getting the roster put together. So I like the hire, but I could easily see it lasting 2 to 3 years and the Broncos running out of patience again and starting over.
Yeah, they want to get it done. They're trying to turn that thing around and turn it around ASAP. So it's this carousel of coaching right now is kind of funny. It seems like there's a lot of not as much patience these days with the coaching turnovers. They feel if it's not going in the right direction, they're getting rid of you. Whereas in the past, they give you at least 3-4 years to be able to make a change and turn it around a little bit. But they don't seem to be the case these days. They feel like there's good quarterbacks out there. I still am wondering if, of course, once it ends, are some teams waiting on a Bieniemy? Are some teams, waiting on somebody of that stature who I thought should have got a job last year, but maybe he wanted to stay with Kansas City. Maybe he didn't feel the timing was right. But I think somebody like him would be somebody to watch out for as well, a part of this coaching carousel that's going on. It's a thought.
Yeah, I hope Eric Bieniemy. That's the talk from everybody. Is hopefully he finally,
Colorado, baby, big.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I didn't like that part of him. But as far as successful as he's been with that Chiefs offense, you'd think that somebody would think, hey, that's pretty revolutionary so far. Maybe he could give us a shot here, but it just hasn't. It hasn't hit that clip yet, right? For some reason he hasn't got the opportunity.
Yeah, that's true. He just hadn't got the chance, and so hopefully, obviously he's got to play it out. The season's got to end for him. He's had tremendous success in what he's doing with Mahomes and that group down there, and Andy Reid, I'm sure, loves him. But we'll see. So We'll come back after this. We'll take a little break. We'll go hit hardwood with Eric Strickland and Jake Bakoven here on the block. When we come back, we'll do hitting the hardwood right after this.
Hi, welcome to Big Chain Bar and Grill. Can I get you a drink? Which game were you hoping to see? Doesn't matter. I don't know what channel the game's on anyway. Are you ready to order? Okay, here's your check. Come back and see us again, okay?
What?
Hey, welcome back into Upside.
Slow down and enjoy the game at the Upside Bar and Lounge. Comfortable seating, plenty of screens, a great food and drink menu, and no one trying to shove you out the door. Come in, hang out, and take it all in at the Upside Bar and Lounge, open daily just east of 27th and Pine Lake.
You hear that? That's the sound of extremely tender and delicious beef from Certified Piedmontese. Prime grade tenderness with a fraction of the fat and calories of normal beef. It's Nebraska-raised product and the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. Change the way you buy beef today at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, just north of 84th and Havelock, or at cpmercado.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies expected here for our Thursday. A little breezy with northwest winds gusting over 20. We'll top out near 40. Heading into tonight, partly cloudy, a low dropping down to 15. Cloud cover lingering into our Friday, very seasonable, as high temps will once again be in the upper 30s, close to 40. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season, enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion-censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course. Ow! God! Ow!
Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
Need to send a message? Send it with cake. Congratulations. Here's a congratulations chocolate rum cake from Beatrice Bakery. Thank you? Say thank you with an amaretto cake. I'm sorry that I accidentally hit your mailbox with my car as I was backing out of the driveway and then continued right into your prized petunias. You say that with a lemon drop cake. Everybody knows that. Beatrice Bakery in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Here to help you say whatever it is you need to say. Welcome to our world of yum.
This is Dan Friedman. In recent years, over 1/3 of all Nebraska traffic crashes have been caused by drivers aged 15 to 19. If you're a teen driver, don't become another statistic. Keep your eyes on the road. And if you're a parent, please remember that safe driving habits start with you. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices. For almost 60 years, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Finishing up On the Block here on 93.7 The Ticket, the way we always do, with a little NBA action. Hitting the hardwood with Strick. We'll do that here in a second. Just a reminder, though, the post-game show for Nebraska men's basketball is coming up. They are coming down to the final few minutes there. DP will join myself and Strick here in just a few minutes at the top of the hour when we're done with this show and break that game down for you. Nebraska in the midst of trying to keep it close. They've got it pretty close at, I think, about 3.5 minutes to go, down 10 points. So we'll break all that down for you here in just a minute. But first, I want to get to some NBA action with our Hitting the Hardwood segment with Strick. Strick, the first one that I maybe hopefully Husker fans saw was Delano Banton actually hit a three-pointer last night on a pass. So it was kind of weird because it looked like, the guy had inside positionings over the top. So it looked like he was trying to get it to him. I don't know if he's going, you almost have to think he was going for an alley-oop because I don't know why else the pass would be up there. But either way, it ended up going in and counted as 3 for Delano. And he's obviously doing good his rookie season, getting a lot of minutes up there in Toronto. What's the best play that you've ever made accidentally? If you could think of one.
I would have to think, of course, it's going to be a shot that maybe it got challenged really hard and I shot it a little extra hard and, you bank it in.
Yeah,
it's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those ones where, and I remember the night actually. It was one of those ones where when that one went in, it was like there was nothing I could do that was wrong thereafter. It was just like,
oh yeah,
it was just like everything was gonna go in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you bank one in, and look, it wasn't from the wing either. It was from the top. So and I think once I did that, it was actually in high school. And when I did that, it was just like I think I went for 40 or 45 that night. It was in a district game. And those are the types of nights. I don't think I've had anything crazy. I may have done that before myself. I remember in Dallas, I think I may have done that also, trying to throw an hoop and it ends up going in. And then you try to make it look like you cool, like you meant to do that, but you really did.
I never know how to respond when you get that bank shot. Like you're so far off. Right? Or usually it is from the side, right? Like you're so far off on your accuracy that it goes in. I never know what to do once that happens because, then everybody's asking if you made it or you didn't call it or all that. And you just kind of shrug your shoulders and say, well, I can still heat check next because that's 2 in a row, right?
Yeah. That is the thing about it. I mean, I don't think there's anything greater than having situations like that happen. I think I've seen stuff bounce off people's head and go in to the basket. I've seen that happen. The one that I haven't seen yet is the one where it gets bounced off the ground and it goes in. I mean, I've heard that this happened, but I just haven't seen that one yet. That's the only one. But the one that Delano had is the one that's most consistent. You're trying to get it to a player, and you just end up shooting it into the basket. That does happen.
Yeah, one time I do remember just playing in rec ball or whatever. I one of my favorite plays that I've ever done. It made me look a lot better than I actually was. It was like a half court pass, just a bounce pass to a guy cutting, and it went through this guy's legs like halfway through. Like the bounce pass was perfectly through the guy's legs. There is no way I meant to do that. But once it went through his legs, I did the little spin around like I made a good pass, like I was on purpose. You just got to take advantage of those opportunities. I think Delano, it would would be hard for him to sell that though, because it looked like a pass.
Looked like a pass. It did. I saw that one definitely.
Yeah. But again, fun to follow Delano Benton, former Husker, up there in the NBA. The other topic I wanted to hit is Hornets scoring 158. We talk about the high level scoring in the NBA. That was the record for this year so far. 158 in a road win, actually, against the Pacers, who eliminated them in the play-in game the other day. Kelly Oubre led the way with a career-high 39 points on 10 three-pointers. LaMelo Ball, his fourth triple-double of the season with 29 points, 13 assists, and 10 rebounds. That actually ties LeBron James for the third most by a player before turning 21 in league history. Yeah, very, very young. What do you think about, we'll break down that game a little bit. What do you think about the Hornets overall? They've had trouble, especially, as we know, kind of Michael Jordan being the owner there. There's always been the talk about how he's not nearly as good an owner as he is a player or whatever. They've had trouble getting it going. LaMelo Ball seems to be the cornerstone of their franchise that they can build on moving forward. And so maybe it's not this year or going into the future, but do you see LaMelo Ball as like a 10-time All-Star, that type of player that you can build on?
I think that he'll eventually get there. He's definitely starting to fill it out. He's understanding. He's got great vision. His range is solid. He's probably had the best mechanics in his jumper than any of the brothers. But even now, I feel bad for LiAngelo, because LiAngelo is stroking that thing now down there in the G League, and he just can't get a sniff, and it's sad. And I think it's a lot of that comes from just the dad, right? The dad talked it up, brought it up, pumped it up, and he did all of those things all those years, and basically said, all three of my sons, this and this and this. And the one with the biggest burner is LiAngelo, and he can't even get a sniff, and it's pretty sad. But I do think that LaMelo is probably one of the most gifted of the Ball brothers, because he has the most swag, he has the most confidence, he has the most, you can't do nothing with this. I think the oldest Ball, he's the one that just kind of is the quiet one. He just goes about it and just does his job, and he's not as just flamboyant about his actions and the way that he plays the game, whereas he's very marketable, LaMelo is. And so I think they've got something with him. It'll be interesting to see where he goes from here. I don't think he's near ready to jump into the All-Star race yet, but I think as these the KDs and the Steph Currys and those start making their way out, I think he'll start to fall in. And the Eastern Conference is also a great place for him as a guard to be able to get in there. But then you've got to go through Trey, and you got to go through some of those guys as well, who's still next level.
And quickly, we always will welcome NBA questions off the text line if you have one. We have one here. Strick, what's your most memorable moment in the NBA?
Well, there's multiple things about it, right? I think when I scored, there's two times when I really went nuts. And it was one as a rookie, giving Gary Payton almost 30 was really tremendous. And then letting him talk, and then me trying to talk back to him. And as I was talking, I wasn't really talking. He made some crazy shot, and I was like rolling my eyes like, really? But I was like, okay, good shot, good shot. He's like, I know it was a good shot. I said, that's why I'm going to give you 30 tonight. He's like, boy, please be quiet. My wife makes more than you, rookie.
He's known for his trash talk.
Oh man, he talks so much trash. So then I think the other time was, obviously Steve Nash is a Hall of Famer, but we played them against the Suns, and there was all this Steve Nash talk. And I gave him 36, and it was just nothing he could do about it. It was just one of those things where I'm giving you the business tonight. There's just nothing you can do about it. You know what I'm saying? So those were two phenomenal nights, and then I think another memorable moment is just having Charles Barkley in the back after we played Houston. I had a pretty good game, and he just walks up to me. He was like, "Young fella, I see what you're doing. Just keep doing it like you're doing it." And that's a confidence thing for a young guy that's trying to make his way and feel his way in the league, and still hadn't made a name for himself yet.
Yeah, those are very, very cool stories, and man, would it be cool to be a part of that or be at those games. But in any case, we will talk about a game ourselves, Wisconsin and Nebraska. There's about a minute left, so we'll go to commercial break. But when we come back, that'll wrap it up for On the Block. But when we come back, we'll do the basketball post game here, as myself and Strick will stick around. DP will join us to break down Wisconsin and Nebraska as it wraps up. That's coming up next here on 93.7 The Ticket.